Right, so internal police documents say alcohol creates 20 times the harm of meth, but police deploy less than 1% of their staff on reducing its harm. They estimate the harm from alcohol is about 7.8 billion a year, compared to 1.8 billion for illegal drugs. Police Commissioner Andrew Costa defended police resourcing of alcohol harm reduction, saying they had limited influence over how much of the damage being done, but added alcohol was a key contributing factor in crimes of violence, homicide and family abuse. He says new measures should be considered, including allowing bottle stores to only open during daytime hours and raising the price of alcohol. Let's be honest, people, we have this conversation probably a couple of times at least a year. Yes, we know that alcohol can lead to harm for those that do abuse it. But what can we do? Now, Ash Parmar has nearly 20 years in the liquor industry as well as being a retailer, and he joins me now. Ash, good afternoon, my friend.
Good afternoon, Leah.
Now, you are a liquor retailer, as I said. Those listening might say, because of your business, you would not like to see law changes in any way that could curb the way you make your living. But do you think the current system is working, considering the harm of alcohol is so high?
Look, I mean, obviously I've got a vested interest in this. I and my family make our living by selling alcohol, but what I'm not enjoying the conversations, like the police commissioner came out and he's kind of trying to bash the retailers, especially the off-premise retailers, which what I classify myself as. We have retail stores and I've got an online store. But, I mean, with everything else, and you and I have talked about crime in the past, where does the personal responsibility sit in any of this? And we can break a conversation if you think. I've made a few notes here. But, I mean, if I left a bottle of whiskey right now in the middle of Queensbury, what's actually going to happen? If I just leave it there, a 1 litre bottle of Scotch whiskey, I'll just leave it there. Does it, chase someone, get inside someone, and then that person goes around and starts bashing someone or starts acting out? There's intent there. We all have intent when it comes to food, when it comes to alcohol, many other aspects of life. So I think the first thing we probably should discuss is where does the personal responsibility sit in all of this? And it's not all about people who are on the lower income level, because part of the business I run, I host really high levels of whiskey tastings, and I get to sort of rub shoulders with some very, very wealthy people, and I actually see them acting very foolishly as well because they consume too much alcohol very, very fast. But that's the whole Kiwi culture, as you and I might know, It's been around for a long time, We think we look cool if we're drinking quite a lot of alcohol. We don't stop to appreciate it. So, I mean, what's your thoughts on the personal responsibility? I think it's of the highest importance in all of this.
I've always said that. I mean, when it comes to obesity levels or, where does that personal responsibility come? I don't... The thing, though, with alcohol is, and what, Costa and Alcohol Watch say is there are a lot of off licenses around the country. They do work from early in the morning till late at night. Basically, they're saying it's easy to purchase, and there's also cheap alcohol out there now. I mean, you could argue that does restricting the hours of sale work? Do you think minimum pricing would work? Minimum pricing scheme?
Well, the thing is, just think logically about it. Minimum prices, and I've seen a lot of commentary lately by a few organizations who've taken upon themselves to, better educate Kiwis or oppose liquor licenses. And they talk about minimum pricing, but we currently live in a country, Leah, where the government gives people free money. We don't actually keep an eye on what they're spending the money on. So if you make a vessel, you take it from $3 to $6, they're literally getting free money. And this is obviously people on the lower end, who might be getting some sort of benefit, who might be harming themselves by consuming too much alcohol. So if you start talking about minimum setting of price, all we're going to hurt is middle class, when alcohol is already generating a significant amount of excise, which is something I found very interesting in some of the comments in the Radio New Zealand article around police commissioner's comments, that alcohol harm, which is well established. I've seen it as well. It's very, very harmful. But it's not fair to compare to illegal drugs because that gives nothing back in excise or GST. So, we probably should be better talking about where does the excise go towards right now. But in the same article, he talks about that nationwide less than, I think, 0.75% of the police force, or I think it was 0.4%, so less than 1%, actually works in alcohol harm prevention area, or they call them AHPOs. So some of the conversations should be around that. Why do we need to send more money to Wellington? Sending more money to Wellington can't be the answer to our problems, And we did that with tobacco, if you recall, in 2014, 2015.
Yes.
And then look at where that's led to us. So much looting and harms happened around it. But some of the conversation needs to be around, how are we going to better educate the population around harm of liquor consumption? And we don't really see a lot of that happening. I don't see any of it, and I work in the industry, literally.
You are right. The alcohol excise revenue, this is for 2020, was just over $1 billion on the current levy of alcohol products, but the funds going towards alcohol harm reduction activities was only $11.5 million per year, which is less.
So there you go.
Than
so
1%.
Someone's drinking habits is funding someone else's other health problems, the way it looks like. But the other thing is, I don't know if you, and I want to educate your listeners as well, the excise tax actually is locked in with the inflation. So in the last two cycles, which we're going to come to another one in July in another month, it's gone up by around 6.5%, 20 years in a row. And I've been doing this for 20 years. That's unprecedented level of hike we've seen, and once that tax gets absorbed into the cost of goods and then you set a new retail price, the government actually is making higher level of GST as well. So where does that money go? Why is that not being used to educate in how people understand the harm of alcohol? So rather than talking about putting alcohol prices up or shutting shops down, we should be talking about what are we actually doing with existing money, And I say it again, sending more money to Wellington is not the answer to our problems.
No, I mean, that's a good point, Ash. I mean, we can still, you're saying that businesses can still continue and the prices may not need to go up, but the money that is already being pulled in equally should be actually used to educate, to help people that are addicted to alcohol. Like you said, I actually don't see many, I don't see advertising really, a lot of it about drinking responsibilities, or it's kind of fallen away. Do you agree?